Parents of Reddit, when did you realize that it wasn't teenage hormones? Your kid is a legitimate butthole? Not sure when my parents figured it out, but me as the older brother found out when little 14-year-old Shut was causing trouble as he did. Got into a screaming fight with mum and dad, and then broke down crying saying it was because he's never been sure what to do since our grandmother butted. And during the ensuing hug from mum, he smirks and winks at me over her shoulder. I've never trusted the manipulative little Shut since, and that distrust has served me well. Darn, that's like from a movie. I'd be flabbergasted. Yes, that sounds like something Macaulay Culkin would do in The Good Son. It's downright creepy. It's my stepson. My wife wasn't connecting the dots. I finally pointed out that he's 30, which is how old I was when we got married. He's got no skills and no education and no career prospects, but he does have a bunch of felonies. That got the wheels spinning. But when she was taking our daughter for a walk with some little kids that they were babysitting, they found him butted out in a car in the side of the road. Obviously coming down from whatever he was on. She finally got it. So she kicked him out, and he threw a big tantrum and smashed stuff and cussed her out on his way out the door. I'll let her know that if she ever tries to move him into the house again, I'm grabbing our daughter and moving out, and that it won't be a discussion. Good for you. It's gotta be tough to make an ultimatum like that, but at some point she may be targeted for manipulation with every mental faculty he has. What else is he gonna do? At some point he will go all in, and she may be unable to resist. So you keeping your foot down on the issue, even if it hurts in the short term, may help her rationalize and come around for her own benefit. My nephew. But in some respects it's not his fault. He's the bright shining golden boy and grandson who can do no wrong. Grandparents and his parents enable the shut out of the little dipshit. And while my kids, girls, are loved too, they are held to different standards, which annoys the hell out of me. He wasn't born evil or anything, and he's not a psychopath. He's just a spoiled little over-entitled Shut who will grow up unwhole because nobody has ever let him face a consequence. This sounds like my nephew. He's 28 and entitled as all get out. He actually had the nerve to ask to borrow $600 when he loaned $600 he didn't have to his mutual friend. At least he's generous to his friends. Right, lol. But his friends only. He owes his grandma over $1,500 and it's been 3 or 4 years. Grandma still owes me for shoveling her sidewalk that one time in 2016. Shut took me the better part of a half hour. Hi, the butthole kid here, 23 meters. For a while my mom thought I hated her because of how I acted. I definitely did not hate her. I just got really irritated at everything. At the age of 19 I was still being a total ass and didn't know why. I hated it, but as much as I tried to change I was always in a bad mood. Then my doctor did a blood test for other medical issues and saw my thyroid didn't work. My TSH level was somewhere in the 20s, and she said it was supposed to be around 122 or something similar. She said that with my levels being so high it was amazing how I was functioning so well. I was not. I just put on a show. After a few years of thyroxine medicine my level is down to like 6 to 7. Not where my doctor wants it to be, but I'm getting there. TL. Doctor, if your kid is keeping this attitude, have a blood test. Their thyroid could be messed up. Edit, I have hyperthyroidism. The thyroid doesn't produce enough hormone. Edit, added age and gender obligatory. Thanks for the award. While in my case it was the thyroid that caused the issue, it could just as easily be something else. Children can also act out as a result of many things. Try to communicate with them. I have hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease, that wasn't diagnosed until I was 31. Had spent all my years since a teenager on antidepressants. In therapy. Nothing helped. It's been 2 years and I've never been on a more even keel in my life. It's a strange but nice feeling to be at peace. Glad you're doing good. You too. I'm not a parent, but my sister is 26 and my mom still hasn't figured it out. My parents are just now realizing how much of a world but see. My sister is, and it's glorious to be around when she snaps at them and they give it right back to her instead of taking it like they always have. Then I would step in to defend them and I'm the bad guy. Feel that with my sister too. I swear just cause she's younger she's apparently an angel to my parents. More like demon. My brother gets away with so much and manages to get me in trouble. One example is that he lost a game and shifted the blame onto me saying that I took it. So I lost several privileges until I admitted to where it was. So I waited 3 months for my brother to find it because if I find it, I'll get in more trouble for hiding it. Sneaky plan. Yeah, being the oldest stinks. Not a parent, but I raised my younger brother. My parents swore he would become a good kid as he got older. But, of course, I knew otherwise. He used to cut me for fun, leaving scars that I still have as an adult. Shatter dishes and blame it on me, etc. And now as a 17-year-old, he started his extremely poor habits at 15. He has been suspended and then eventually expelled from school, gotten busted for alcohol/drug/tobacco use, dropped out of clubs and failed others, stolen vehicles and driven illegally, snuck out of the house, been fired from the only 2 jobs he's ever had, etc. And has just honest to God a genuine hole. He has tried to physically harm both myself and my parents as recently as this year while tripping on acid. My dad is now convinced that he will be imprisoned by the time he's 20. I hope he turns himself around. But as one of the few people in this world that I personally know who just completely lacks empathy, he does not give a single care about himself or anyone else and drains the life out of everyone around him. He needs a psychiatrist. He sounds like he has impulse control and anger issues, mental illness that came on with puberty. It's not too late to get him help. My son was like this, and it turned out he had severe anxiety, anger issues. 5 years of medication and therapy later has able to control most of that. Without it he'd have been in jail. Thank you for your input, you're absolutely right. Has been seeing a psychiatrist for years and has been diagnosed with anger issues. Has also a narcissist, same as my mother. He went to anonymous meetings for his substance abuse issues, neither of which have helped him thus far. He intends to refuse treatment after his 18th birthday, which is only 4 months away, and has ditched treatments previously, i.e. intentionally missing appointments, sneaking out of the house in an effort to miss them, etc. Which is just sad. Has also been prescribed medications but again, he doesn't take them. He got caught selling pills to other students in fact. This has been an issue since he was a child and just worsened with age. My mother also suffers from very intense mental health problems, meaning that she's not a reliable source of help for him, and my father believes therapy/medications and mental health issues entirely are all made up by quacks, so unfortunately he hasn't received all of the support that he could have, and after he becomes an adult, he intends to leave and probably will never receive that help again. At this point, I'm not in contact with any of them except for my parents on very few occasions. So I wish them all of the best, but it's not my issue to handle any longer. You poor bastard, mean that in heartfelt manner. My paternal grandmother has always been this way. She's bipolar and often at times has refused her medications. She tried to kill her 7th husband with a 20-pound dumbbell. Tried to kill her 7th husband with a 20-pound dumbbell. That only leaves me wondering, what happened to husbands 1 to 6? Not me, but my grandfather recently learned the true colors of his narcissistic son, my uncle, after 50 years. He only started realizing after my grandmother butted away this year, and my uncle has been a total piece of shit to my grandfather. It's sad that it took so long, and it is now driving a rift between my uncle and my grandfather. How did having grandma around prevent grandpa from seeing the narcissism? Or was that unrelated? Coincidental? I knew my stepson was lying all the time within a couple of months of his mother and I getting married. My ex-best friend from HS was a lot like him on the lying part. Couple of years later, he kicks in our back door after going missing for a week. He's 15 at this point and steals electronics. Cops called. He's apprehended 30 minutes later, headed for the pawn shop. My wife still isn't accepting reality at this point. He spent 6 weeks locked up in a boot camp style facility. Comes back, is like a different person for less than a week. His birthday comes around. He goes off the rails. locked up for 6 months. He's been in and out of the county jail for the last 7 years. He's a sociopath. He can emulate feelings, but has no real connection to people. He wants what he wants, and if he has to take from someone else, so be it. If his mother won't do what he wants, he gets emotionally abusive. Until last summer, when he put her in the hospital, I officially disowned him, and she agreed. For about 3 months, she just won't defend herself. I have to be a major hole about it to try to protect her. She still went over $5,000 in debt for him and the third baby by the third baby mama. Our relationship rides on a thin razor's edge when it comes to him. Get professional guidance. Ike. Sociopaths respond to transactional rewards. Like, stay out of jail for X months and we'll give you X. Maybe, move away or pay him to move away and give him a stipend to not cause trouble for you. All this requires $ you might but have. Unfortunately. No. Paying them to stay away would end very poorly. My oldest daughter has a learning disability. My middle daughter is in pre-apcal butts. The middle one is constantly belittling her sister for not knowing certain things. She walks around with this "I'm better than you" attitude. We didn't raise her that way. My wife will tell her bluntly to stop being a B***tch to her sister. Both of my older brothers called me basement boy because I'm dyslexic and the reading club that I went to was in the basement of the school. I ended up being valedictorian of my 450 plus high school club and getting an engineering degree pretty easily. I'm definitely the most successful out of the 3 of us, but I'm still a bit bitter about it. I literally never got made fun of once at school for my learning disability just at home. My mom still doesn't understand why I don't get along with my brothers. My siblings made fun of me for being stupid. Anyway, now I'm a honor roll student and making the most money in my family. I'd say it's just luck though. Excuse me while I snort a line of birth control. Seriously, having children is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you'll get. It is a case of nature and nurture. Some people are good in spite of bad parenting. Some people are rotten in spite of good parenting. I love my kid dearly, but she somehow ended up getting all the worst negative traits from both me and my husband. It's been a challenge to say the least. I got the exact traits from my mom that piss her off the most, asking why constantly, and immense difficulty completing tasks with a mouth to match. That's partly from my dad too though. She's a saint. But if she's in a bad mood, I'm 100% going to make it worse without even trying. Lol. Mood. When I was 14, my mom threatened me with a therapist because she didn't understand why I would rather hide in my bedroom and read as opposed to socializing with siblings. She didn't get they were holes until much later in life. Edit. Thanks for all the replies. It was early 90s. Parenting wasn't the same as it is today, and we didn't have as many things to keep us busy as kids. My ducking father and stepmother still do not understand why I don't socialize with my brother, a dipshit who has tormented me for years with shut my dad blows off as asking you to play with him. Drives me nuts. Has been busted for buttisted vandalism by the law and drugs by my parents. Has 15. Haha. My mom's the same way. Why can't you and your sister just get along? IDK. Maybe the fact that she torments me and gets me in trouble for shit I didn't do constantly. Yes, exactly. Parents are really blind sometimes. My mom seems to only notice anything when I'm reacting negatively to my sister's shitty behavior towards me. I'm not even allowed to call out her double standard, or be angry, or really show any negative emotion ever. Obligatory not a parent. My sister has some narcissistic tendencies. Every situation always has to be about her, and if it isn't, she will either act out or sulk about it. She can be very manipulative. So even though you know on some level that she is in the wrong, you'll find yourself apologizing to her. It took my mom a long time to realize that this wasn't just a teenage phase, and it was heartbreaking to watch. My sister is in her late 30s. And it has only been in the last 2 to 3 years that my mom has come to accept the fact that this is just how she is. At least your mom accepted it. My sister blamed me for her trying to commit suicide, was abusive for almost a decade, and I'm somehow the whole child because I was mentally and emotionally fried from daily emotional and psychological abuse and gaslighting. Our parents are now helping her adopt a kid. She's single, living at home, and a full-time nurse. I feel bad for that kid. Hubs and I have 2 sons, 25 and 18. We love them and would do almost anything to help them get ahead in life. The 25-year-old is our family's whole. We keep hoping that adversity will train him to be nicer, but so far, it hasn't. He doesn't do grandiose whole things. It's the small stuff. Luckily, he has done this stuff to other people, so he can't go unnoticed. We make a choice to see him a couple of hours a month to see if he's grown even a little. He makes snide hurtful remarks, is ungrateful for everything, and disrespectful. That's really unfortunate for him. I hope he learns how to be kind sooner or later, for his sake. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you want more videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. You are helping me a lot. Thanks again.